lights, camera, action. That's the dream. Well, it's my dream. My name is Shira Davis, and I'm a film major at GSU. Now, this is the dream for most film majors at GSU. Unfortunately, it's getting a lot harder to reach for the stars. Right now, there are 1,194,000 people nationwide that are between the ages of 20 to 34 years of age that are in the arts, entertainment, or recreation industries that are unemployed. Now, entering into the professional field of the film industry is incredibly challenging, now more than ever, even with a degree. Today, we're going to be talking about pursuing a film career in 2025 and how recent conditions in the film industry have made the future uncertain. Now, we're going to be examining why someone would go to college for film, what has changed in the industry, and what film students, can do to help secure their financial future. Now, why does someone go to college for film? Being a film student gives you certain benefits and advantages while you train and develop your creative voice. Now, I did not originally enroll as a film student in college. It was something I was drawn to as a young adult who was exploring and developing their creative voice. A lot of people discover it like this, but some people know that they want to go into the film industry, and they sought a place to develop their skills and have access to professional equipment. But more importantly, it's a foot in the door. Now, the stereotype of inside Hollywood as a cultish place where you have to know someone who knows someone feels very real. But if you don't know someone, how do you get work? That's where college comes in. It's not just training and developing your creative voice, but it's also developing connections with your peers and professors. But why is that not working now? What contributed to the decline of film in America and the decline of film specifically in Georgia? Well, there are a couple different factors. The writer's strike of 2023 and the actor's strike of 2023 that carried into 2024 were monumental. The goal of both the actor's strike and the writer's strike were to improve the benefits and working conditions for those performing essential roles in the industry. Now, the renegotiated deals eventually paid off, but at a heavy price. Nearly all major products were halted for almost 2 years, because this was after COVID, which shut down the world. On NPR, A. Martinez interviews Mandalit Del Barco on some of the lasting consequences, where Del Barco cites a study by Otis College report on the creative economy that said that employment for actors nationally has dropped by 17%, and for writers by 14%. Now, how does Georgia specifically come into this? Well, Georgia had a very generous tax incentive plan, but last year, this was removed. People often said that Atlanta was the next New York or the next Hollywood, and this is because many production companies relocated their base to here because of these very generous tax incentives offered by the government of Georgia. However, these were revoked last year. The film industry was using legal loopholes to exploit the tax plans, and they ended up costing Georgia more money than the work they were bringing in. Now, Jeff Amy by AP News cites a GSU study that showed an alarmingly low amount of benefit per dollar that was being brought in for the state of Georgia. Less than 20 cents of a return on the dollar. Now, what was the result of these two major developments? There are major changes to the overall structure of the film industry. Not only are students uncertain of their future career, but established professionals are also being let go. Since many film companies are downsizing their productions or moving across or out of the country, there are very experienced and qualified professionals that are looking for jobs that just aren't there anymore. This means that recent graduates are competing with seasoned professionals for entry-level jobs. Even if you do everything right, finding a job in the film and media industry without experience is nearly impossible, and the effects of this are crushing. Many graduates are returning to entry-level positions in other fields. Many graduates' financial futures are relying on jobs and positions that are no longer attainable. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics say that many people holding a fine arts degree, instead of working in their field, they will be managers, retail workers, substitute teachers, and a surprisingly few number of them are actually going into the field which they have studied for. Now, how can you ensure your financial stability? Now, even outside of the industry, there are still valuable skills that film students have developed that can give them a leg up in another field. For example, there are many fine arts degrees holders that are graphic designers, that are in marketing, and a lot of them are even climbing up the ladder in other positions, or teaching, which is also a very common occupation for people with fine arts degrees when they are not able to practice. Now, this can sometimes feel very disheartening, but there are outlets that you can, use to help yourself find creativity locally. There's certain things in Atlanta, like Kick the Ladder, that are something that are going on a regular basis that help people in the industry find creative outlets and build connections that can possibly be another route to finally getting your foot into that door. And as a student, there are still resources that are available specifically to you, like internship programs that are still accepting new interns. Georgia State has a connection with Handshake, and they are regularly updating positions. There are also resources at Georgia State like the University Career Services and advisors who can help you make a plan now that the state of the industry has been changed. All it takes is making an appointment and seeking out someone specifically, even though it can sometimes be a little bit difficult to get in touch. Now, is this all pointless? No, it is not pointless. But it is true that things are hard. Now, the writers and actors strike changed the playing field, and the Georgia tax incentives, when they were revoked, many productions pulled out of Georgia to relocate. Now, recent graduates and experts are competing for the same jobs, and that can be really difficult. Now, this can seem crushing, and it is hard, but there are still things that you have gained. Going to college for film helps you build those creative skills and that distinct voice, which you still always have. And there are things that we can do. There are those programs, there are those internships that are able to help us make a bridge. Now, while this does seem grim, the industry is changing, and our plans, they just might have to change with it.